The air was thick and heavy, pressing down like a weight on the small suburban house nestled in the outskirts of Georgia. Inside, the ceiling fan spun slowly, doing little to cut through the oppressive heat of the summer night. Outside, dark clouds gathered ominously on the horizon, the sky a swirling canvas of deep grays and blues that foretold the coming storm. Rob Miller sat quietly in his wheelchair by the window, his weathered hands resting on the armrests as his eyes scanned the garden beyond the glass. The soft hum of cicadas filled the air, mingling with the distant rumble of thunder. It was a night that should have been peaceful, yet a restless energy buzzed just beneath the surface. Beside him lay Rex, his loyal German shepherd. The dog's sleek black and tan coat glistened faintly in the dim light. Rex's ears twitched, nostrils flaring as he caught scents carried on the breeze. His body was tense, muscles coiled, ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. Rob's gaze remained fixed outside, his instincts honed by years of military service still sharp despite his retirement and the challenges of his current life. The faint flicker of headlights caught his attention, a vehicle approaching slowly, stopping just outside the fence line. Rob's heart quickened, a familiar tension tightening his chest. "Rex," he murmured, voice low but firm. Instantly, Rex rose, every muscle alert, tail stiff, ears pricked high. The dog's body language spoke clearly. This was not a stranger coming for a friendly visit. It was a threat. Through the window, Rob watched as the car idled in the shadow of the oak trees, its dark shape barely visible in the gathering gloom. The driver remained unseen, but the very presence of the vehicle unsettled the calm of the evening. Rob's mind raced back through memories of duty, danger, and the countless nights spent on alert in faraway lands. He had faced many threats before, but the vulnerability of this moment felt different. Here, in the quiet of his home, he was limited by his wheelchair, reliant on his keen mind and Rex's unwavering loyalty. A flash of lightning illuminated the yard, revealing the silhouette of a figure stepping out of the vehicle. Rob's eyes narrowed as he studied the newcomer, every sense stretched taut. The storm was coming, not just the one brewing in the sky, but something darker, born of human intent. Rob reached slowly for the old handgun he kept within reach, a relic of his service and a symbol of his readiness. Beside him, Rex growled softly, a deep rumble of warning that seemed to echo the storm's distant thunder. Together, man and dog prepared for the night ahead, a night where vigilance and courage would be their strongest shields against the unknown. The morning sun filtered through the kitchen window, casting soft light across the worn wooden table where Michael sat, stirring his coffee absently. The scent of bacon and freshly brewed coffee filled the small kitchen, mingling with the quiet hum of the refrigerator. Yet despite the familiar comforts, the atmosphere in the house was anything but warm. Rob moved slowly from the living room into the kitchen, his wheelchair creaking softly on the hardwood floor. His eyes met Michael's, a mixture of fatigue and stubborn pride shining beneath the surface. The two men had not seen each other for months, and the distance between them felt as wide as the years they had spent apart. "Michael," dressed in his police uniform, carried the weight of his badge and the heavy burden of his job. His face was etched with lines of concern and frustration, evidence of the difficult cases he had been handling lately. Yet it was the tension with his father that weighed most heavily on his mind. "Morning, Dad," Michael said cautiously, placing his mug down and leaning forward. "I brought some news. Things have been strange around here. Break-ins. Strange cars seen near your place. The local police have been on edge." Rob nodded, his gaze steady but guarded. "I'm aware, Michael. I saw a vehicle outside last night. You don't need to tell me twice." Michael's eyes narrowed slightly. "That's just it, Dad. You don't seem to be taking it seriously. And Rex, are you sure about keeping him around? I've been hearing things. Dogs like him, they're not always what they seem. He might be a stray. Or worse, trouble." Rob's jaw tightened. "Rex isn't just a dog. He's my partner, my protector. He's saved me more times than I can count. You don't get to decide whether he stays." The kitchen seemed to shrink under the weight of their disagreement. Michael ran a hand through his hair. Frustration evident. "I'm not trying to undermine you. I just want what's best for you and the neighborhood. And I want what's best for me," Rob replied, voice firm. "Rex is family." The conversation stalled as both men wrestled with unspoken feelings, regrets, fears, and a history of strained communication. There were secrets Michael kept locked away, things about Rob's past that he didn't fully understand, and choices Rob made that Michael struggled to accept. Luna, Rob's wife and Michael's mother, entered quietly, sensing the tension. She placed a calming hand on her husband's shoulder before turning to her son. "We need to find a way to come together. These troubles, they affect all of us." Michael sighed, the hardness in his expression softening just a little. "I want to believe that, Mom. I really do." Rob looked at his family, his son, his wife, and Rex lying loyally at his side, and knew that the storm outside was nothing compared to the one brewing within these walls. The morning passed with heavy silence, each lost in their thoughts. But beneath the tension lay a shared hope that somehow they would find common ground before the real danger came knocking. The wind howled through the trees, rattling loose branches and shaking the leaves like a warning sent from nature itself. Gray skies hung low over the small suburban home where Rob Miller lived, a place that had become a battleground of wills between man, nature, and unseen enemies. The rain fell steadily now, tapping a relentless rhythm on the windows and pooling into muddy puddles in the garden. Rob sat near the window, eyes narrowed as he watched the storm outside. The cozy warmth of the house offered little comfort against the chill creeping into his bones. But Rob was not alone. At his feet lay Rex, the faithful German shepherd, alert and unyielding, a sentinel against the dark. For weeks now, strange occurrences had unsettled the quiet neighborhood. Shadows moved just beyond the fence line. Unfamiliar faces lingered near the property, and threatening notes appeared, warnings to vacate and relinquish the land. Rob knew this was no ordinary dispute. It was a calculated attempt to intimidate and force him out. Rex was the first to sense the danger. On more than one occasion, the dog's low growl had cut through the night. A primal alarm that stirred Rob from restless sleep. Rex's keen senses detected footsteps in the wet grass. The faintest sense of strangers slipping through the storm. One evening, as thunder rumbled overhead and rain battered the roof, Rex's growling became urgent. Rob followed the dog's gaze to the window and spotted movement near the garden gate. Two figures, cloaked in dark rain gear, prowled cautiously, their intentions masked by shadows. Rob's heart pounded, but fear was tempered by years of discipline and survival. He reached for his phone, fingers steady, and called the police. Meanwhile, Rex's stance hardened, teeth bared in a warning that echoed through the storm. The intruders froze, sensing the fierce protector between them and their target. After a tense moment, they retreated into the night, disappearing like phantoms into the rain. In the aftermath, Rob knelt beside Rex, running his hand through the dog's soaked fur. "Good boy, Rex," he murmured. "You saved me again." That night, as the storm raged on, Rob felt the bond between them deepen, a connection forged not just through companionship, but through shared battles and unwavering loyalty. Rex was no longer just a pet. He was guardian, friend, and protector. Days passed with mounting tension. Each morning, Rob would survey the yard for signs of trespass, broken branches, disturbed soil, unfamiliar footprints. Rex remained at his side, eyes sharp, muscles ready. Neighbors whispered of strange vehicles parked on side streets, of figures watching from shadows. Rob knew the threat was real, and it was escalating. Yet, amidst the danger, moments of quiet comfort offered brief reprieves. Rex would rest his head on Rob's lap, their silent understanding speaking volumes. Rob's fingers would stroke the dog's ears, drawing strength from the steady presence beside him. One afternoon, as the rain slowed to a drizzle, Rex suddenly tensed, ears erect. Rob followed his gaze to the far corner of the property, where a new intrusion awaited. A man, unfamiliar and uninvited, lurked near the fence. Without hesitation, Rex sprang into action, barking fiercely as he charged. The man startled, stumbling back as Rex's growls grew louder. Rob moved swiftly to the door, ready to call for help. The intruder fled, disappearing into the damp streets. But the message was clear. Rob was not alone, and his protector was relentless. Each encounter reinforced their partnership. Rob relied on Rex's instincts, and Rex trusted Rob's guidance. Together, they faced the mounting threat, a team bound by resilience and courage. As the storm clouds gathered once more, Rob looked down at Rex with gratitude and resolve. The road ahead would be challenging, but with his faithful companion by his side, he was ready to defend his home, his peace, and the life they had built. And so, amid the rain and shadows, man and dog stood united, undaunted, unyielding, and fiercely loyal. The night was thick with darkness, the kind that swallowed whole the weak glow of porch lights and muffled the distant sounds of the neighborhood. Heavy clouds hung low, blotting out the stars and moon. and a cold wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it an ominous chill. The small suburban home where Rob Miller lived seemed isolated, vulnerable, and yet fiercely protected by the resolve of the man inside and his loyal dog at his side. Inside, Rob sat in his wheelchair by the window, eyes scanning the shadowed yard. The storm that had been threatening all week finally broke. Rain lashing against the glass and thunder booming like the roar of some ancient beast. Despite the tempest outside, Rob's mind was focused sharply, every muscle coiled in readiness. Beside him, Rex's ears twitched, muscles tense beneath his sleek fur. The German shepherd's watchful gaze darted between the darkness beyond the fence and the dimly lit porch. Something was wrong, an urgency in the air that pressed down heavy. Then, like a shadow tearing through the night, figures emerged from the trees, 3 men cloaked in black, faces obscured, moving with dangerous purpose. They crossed the yard quickly, their intentions clear and hostile. Rex's growl cut through the storm, deep and commanding. Rob's heart hammered as he reached for the emergency phone. But before he could dial, the front door exploded inward, shattered wood splintering into the room. Rex sprang forward, teeth bared and fur bristling. The intruders charged, but the dog was faster, a blur of motion and snarling defiance. He lunged at the first man, knocking him back with sheer force. Rob wheeled to the side, watching helplessly as the chaos unfolded. The fight was brutal and fierce. Rex caught a vicious blow to his flank, yelping sharply but refusing to relent. Blood stained his fur, but his determination only grew stronger. The second intruder swung a heavy object at Rex, who dodged just in time, retaliating with a snap of his jaws that sent the man staggering. But the third assailant had found Rob's wheelchair, attempting to push it aside and reach the man himself. Just then, headlights flooded the yard as Michael, Rob's son and a police officer, arrived in a patrol car. Hearing the commotion, he jumped from the vehicle, gun drawn, and charged into the fray. "Dad!" Michael shouted, rushing to Rob's side before turning his attention to the attackers. Together, Michael and Rob coordinated quickly. Rob shouted commands, his voice steady despite the chaos, while Michael aimed carefully, warning the intruders to surrender. The battle intensified, but Rex, though wounded, remained fiercely protective. His growls and snarls were the heart of their defense, a force of loyalty and courage that refused to yield. In a desperate final move, one intruder lunged at Rob with a knife. Rex intervened, biting down and pulling the attacker away, buying precious seconds for Michael to subdue the threat. Finally, with the arrival of backup police units summoned by Michael, the attackers were overwhelmed and apprehended. The yard fell silent, save for the heavy breathing of man and dog, soaked in rain and battle wounds. Michael rushed to Rex's side, checking the dog's injuries. Though bleeding and battered, Rex's eyes met his with unwavering strength. "You're a hero, boy," Michael whispered, voice thick with emotion. Rob reached out, placing a trembling hand on Rex's head. "Thank you, old friend. You saved us both." The night's terror left scars. But it also solidified bonds forged in the fire of adversity. Rex was more than a pet now. He was family, protector, and symbol of resilience. As dawn broke, casting pale light over the storm-ravaged yard, Rob, Michael, and Rex faced the new day together, scarred but unbroken. United by courage, sacrifice, and love. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm golden glow over the porch where Rob Miller sat in his wheelchair. The oppressive weight of the storm that had ravaged the night before had lifted, leaving behind a world refreshed and new. The air was filled with the soft chirping of crickets and the gentle rustle of leaves in the evening breeze, a peaceful melody that contrasted sharply with the chaos of days past. Beside him, Rex lay resting on a soft blanket, his eyes bright despite the healing wounds that marked his fur. The loyal German shepherd, once battered and bruised, had become a living testament to courage, endurance, and unwavering devotion. Michael stood nearby, the tension that had once marred his features now softened by relief and gratitude. Father and son exchanged glances, the unspoken understanding between them deepening in the quiet moments shared on the porch. For the first time in weeks, the house felt like a home again. The ordeal they had faced, the threats, the fear, the fierce battle to protect their sanctuary, had left scars. But it had also revealed something far more enduring: the strength of family, the power of loyalty, and the transformative force of love. Rob reached down, gently stroking Rex's head, feeling the steady pulse beneath the fur. "You've been through hell, boy," he murmured, voice thick with emotion, "but you never gave up. You stood guard when it mattered most." Rex responded with a soft, contented sigh, resting his head against Rob's knee, a silent vow of continued protection. Michael joined them, kneeling beside Rex and wrapping an arm around his sturdy neck. "He's more than a dog, Dad. He's family." The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. For years, Rob and Michael had struggled to bridge the gap between them, differences in perspective, pride, and past regrets clouding their relationship. But in the shadow of danger and sacrifice, those walls began to crumble. "I realize now," Rob said slowly, "it's not just about protection or duty. It's about trust, about being there for each other, no matter what." Michael nodded. "And loyalty isn't just about obedience. It's about love." As the sun sank lower, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, the three sat in comfortable silence. The garden, once a battleground, was now a sanctuary, a place of healing and new beginnings. Rex's recovery would take time, but he faced it with the same fierce spirit that had seen him through the darkest night. Visits to the vet, gentle care, and the unyielding support of Rob and Michael helped mend his wounds. Both seen and unseen, the family's bond grew stronger each day. Conversations that had once been strained became open and honest. Shared memories and new experiences wove a tapestry of connection that could weather any storm. Neighbors noticed the change too, a renewed warmth radiating from the house. The unmistakable presence of unity and resilience. One evening, As twilight settled over the neighborhood, Rob, Michael, and Rex gathered on the porch once more. The world around them was calm. But inside, their hearts were full. "We've been tested," Rob said quietly, "but we came through together. Stronger." Michael smiled, a genuine, unguarded smile that reached his eyes. "Because of Rex. Because of us." Rex lifted his head, tail wagging slowly, as if acknowledging the truth in their words. And in that moment, beneath the vast Georgia sky, the family found peace, a peace born of love, loyalty, and the unbreakable bonds that hold us together. Their story was one of courage, sacrifice, and ultimately, redemption, a reminder that no matter the storms we face, with love and loyalty, we can rebuild and thrive.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please comment 1. And if you didn't, just hit like. See you in the next videos.